Hello, friends. This is Alia Jamal, the love coach, and today we are meeting for another love circle. And today we are talking about becoming rejection and criticism proof. Now, this is a topic I have taught many times on the past few years, but as I continue to grow, I continue to bring all of it together. And every time I teach it, it becomes more potent. So today I'll be sharing some aspects of becoming criticism proof or rejection proof that are definitely going to help you embody it with so much more ease. So first, let's start with why do we want to learn it? Why do we want to get to a place where we are not worried about other people's opinion, or we are not even thinking about whether they will accept it or don't accept it or validate us or don't validate us? So that is tied to the personal power that a human has, the personal power you have, the personal power I have. If I, for even a second, think about what someone else is thinking of me, I don't have that power anymore. That person has the power. And when someone else has your personal power, then they can control you, they can manipulate you, they can do anything they want to do with you. So if you are a person who does not want to be controlled by other people and you really want to do the work that your soul came here to do, then you have to get to a place of development where you're not worried about other people's opinion, or you're not seeking validation, and you are truly criticism and rejection proof. Because the work that your soul came here to do, it's not going to be something that everyone else is doing, because you're unique and your work is unique and your soul is unique. You have that very unique light within you that the world needs. So it's not going to look like what your sister is doing, what your brother is doing, what your spouse is doing, what your neighbor is doing, what your friend is doing. It is going to look very different. And when you will walk on that very different path, everyone is going to have opinion about you. The reason this topic is so close to my heart, my soul came in this life journey to really master rejection. I started getting rejected, I think the day I was born, all the way, till recently. And there are different layers of releasing that within my consciousness, and it just keeps getting better. And one of the things that I enjoy the most is being able to step out in the world and be whoever I want to be without being concerned what someone else is thinking of me. I think to me that freedom is priceless. So let's get into how we are going to get to that place. But before we even go there, I just want you to take a moment and check in with yourself how important it is for you to be a person that no one can control you. No one can manipulate you. So you get to keep your power, your light, and you get to share it with the rest of the world. Because if that why is not solid enough, you're not going to be an open enough container to be able to draw in the light of the next level of your soul. So whatever I'll say will just go right here. It's not going to stick. That's why it's a very important that we are ready to expand. So now let's look at what, just generally rejection and criticism. Criticism is a lot of judgment, and it's both internal and external. Where I start my clients, if they are seeing a lot of criticism around them, people are criticizing them, people are judging them, we go inward. Where am I criticizing myself? Where am I judging myself? That is exactly the process I use whenever I come across one more person who's not happy with my work, or how dare I get to be who I am. Whenever that happens, I go inward. Okay, Alia, where in your consciousness are you judging yourself? Where, like in which corner or a speck you haven't accepted yourself? That is where the work is. The world only reflects what goes on within us. So if you want to master the world, you have to master your inner world. That is the secret. That is where everything happens. Of course, it requires a lot of honesty. It requires a lot of um awareness, and then the willingness to create the change. So look in your life, if you have been rejected by your partner, if you've been rejected by your employer, if you've been rejected by the world in general, or if you just assume people will reject you, pause. Where in your life you are rejecting yourself? Are you not very confident in the work that you do? Do you think there's something wrong with you? Because rejection is tied to making you feel guilty. Rejection means there's something wrong with you, or what you're doing is wrong, and that is guilt. Something wrong with you is shame, but guilt and shame, they both go together. So whenever we are worried about what other people will think of us or what opinion they have of us, we feel guilty. We carry this underlying guilt in our consciousness all the time. And we become the kind of version of ourselves that we are just so cautious. So it's all happening inside of you. That is where we are going to fix it. We are not going to go around telling people to start having a different opinion of you. Generally, what happens, we come across people and we're like, you don't like me, you're toxic, I'm going to cut you off. You know what's going to happen? After a week or two, another toxic person will walk into your life. You know why? Because you're toxic to yourself. Toxicity is within you, it's not outside of you. The world, other people, they are just a mirror to what's going on within you. So if you truly, truly want to change your experience of life and you want to attract healthy, beautiful relationships, make your relationship within you a healthy and a beautiful one. So now let's get into why do we have this whole rejection and criticism consciousness going on? Now, fear of rejection, or the core wound of rejection, is something every single human being has, and it has passed down to us through our lineage. There was a time as human we lived in communities that if our community rejected us, it was equal to death. Today, not so much. You can be whoever you want to be, you can do whatever you want to do, you can still have live in your little bubble, and nobody's going to kill you. You're not going to die just because your family has abandoned you or your community has abandoned you. Today is not the reality, but our unconscious mind does not know that. So we all carry this wound within us. And it's very important that we stay aware of that. So I'm not going to think at any point I am, rejection or criticism proof and it can never touch me. What we are talking about, be aware of it so well that when it shows up, it doesn't control you. And you can stay in your conscious mind and you can control where you are headed, what you are thinking, what your behavior is. That is what truly being criticism and rejection proof. So when this wound is already within us, which is fear of rejection, when we are little, it gets more reinforced. When we do something wrong, mom yells at us, dad yells at us, teacher says something, we go into like, oh my God, I'm being rejected. Because at that point, we don't have the full conscious faculties to think through the problem and justify why this adult is acting like a monster right now. What did I do? The child would be like, what did I do? But an adult can see, well, you just broke the TV and that was something important. That's why your parents are mad. But to the child, they will be like, why? Like, what did I do? But in that moment, child also internalize, I can get rejected. I can get criticized. I am not a good girl anymore. I'm not a good boy anymore. I am not a good person anymore. So, you know what happens in that very moment? The child is learning to connect with themselves, to self-soothe themselves in a negative way. That is where negative or unhealthy emotional intimacy with ourself is evolved. Now, whenever as an adult, I want to feel that closeness because maybe the world is getting tighter for me. Maybe I just got laid off from work. Maybe somebody broke off with me. When I'm getting to that tight place, I'm going to go into my little corner and I am going to criticize myself. I'm going to reject myself. I'm going to say all the horrible things to myself. We all have done that. Because in that moment, we are just responding to our learned behavior. It's not really real, it's not really adding any value to our life, but it is making us, helping us feel closer. So one of the things that we want to do to just build ourselves in a way that nobody can take that power away from us by criticizing us, by rejecting us, is create a healthy relationship with ourselves. And most of us adult, we don't even know what that means. All we know, we went to a really good college, we were really hard and we got a really good job. We were really hard, we got a house, we got a couple of cars, a couple of pets, a spouse, we got like, some kids on the way. That means we did something for our life. My friend, again, that is our part of our life cycle. That is not who I am. That is not discovering who this being is. That is a relationship that requires time and effort and energy and your commitment to yourself. So if you want to be rejection or criticism proof, your internal relationship with yourself has to become so solid that no one can ever come between you and you. There needs it needs to be such a tight space that not even air can pass through it, if that makes any sense to you. So these are the few things I'm going to suggest for you to just build that up. First of all, get to know yourself, who you are outside of the personality test that you took. Most of us, we took the personality test and we are like NFABCD, all letters, or extrovert or introvert. That is just the ego. That is just the conditioned personality. Who you are beyond that. So, how you would do it? Sit with yourself every single day, no electronics, no distraction. Feel yourself, feel your breath. There's a being living through you. Feel that being. And you can take it up all the way till where you start taking yourself out for a coffee date or a dinner date or a lunch date, where you start going out with yourself and you spend whole day just with yourself, not being in the mall shopping till you drop. We're not talking about that. Go in nature, do an activity, pay attention to how you're feeling, what you're thinking. Whenever we want to build a new relationship, we all know you have to invest time. But unfortunately, we never invest time with ourselves. We think that if we go for a massage, if we get a facial done, manicure, pedicure done, we did something for ourselves. Yeah, you did something for your body, but what did you do to connect with your soul? We are talking about a deeper connection with your soul. So get to know yourself, date yourself. Before you even start dating anybody else, date yourself and never stop that. Even in a couple, dating should never stop. Even if you're happily married, you should still be dating and meeting each other with that new sense of curiosity every week, every month, whatever your schedule allows. And just be curious. I want to get to know who this person is. I'm not going to assume I know all about them. That is the secret of keeping a relationship alive for forever. Same applies to you. Date yourself, even if you're 50 or 60. Go out with yourself and stay curious. I wonder who this being is that lives through me. What are her special powers that I can connect with, I can get to know, and I can use? So stay curious and keep building your connection with yourself. That is how you're going to build your inner fort so strong that when someone throws a pebble at it, it's not going to budge. But if you have like a paper hut going on within you, someone is just going to blow at it, and here goes your hut flying, and you'd be like, I have no power left. Now this person is controlling me. So we want to get beyond that. We want to create a solid castle within us. The next thing you can do is pay attention to how you talk to yourself. Now, this is something so easy. It's so, so easy, but it is so difficult for us adults. We have been talking to ourselves with the most critical voice, like maybe our mom or our dad or our mean teacher that we all had at some point in our life. We are using that voice to talk to ourselves. How does it goes? You're stupid. What is wrong with you? Why did you waste so much time? We are continuously playing that. Raise the standard how you are allowing yourself to talk to yourself. It's not about stop talking the way you're talking. It's about raising the standard. Would you like if your neighbor would be yelling and screaming at your child? Would you like that when your kid has done nothing? Would you like that? No, you won't. And you would tell that neighbor, you're not allowed to talk to my kid like that. I had that experience. One day my son came home crying that one of the neighbor yelled at him. Right? I knocked on the neighbor's door and I said, I want to know, why did you yell at my child? She told her story. I understood there was stuff going on, but me going and inquiring helped my son feel safe. The same way there is a child within you who does not feel safe when you are bashing yourself. So when you're bashing yourself, the child is not feeling safe. So what's happening? Your trust with yourself is breaking. Now what's going on? Now you have a house within you with leaking roof. Any storm that comes, there's flood in your home. We want to make it so strong, so beautiful that you are untouched by weather. So raise the standard the way you allow yourself to talk to you. A very good, I think, a good thing to keep in mind, kind of like your North Star, talk to yourself the way you would talk to a 5-year-old. There is a 5-year-old within you. And if you need help, carry a picture of yourself when you were 5-year-old. I put this picture, this is me at 5-year-old. I put this picture in front of me all the time. Whenever I sit here, I look at that picture, I remind myself how you are going to show up for her, what you are going to say to her today. Because when I talk to me, I'm actually talking to this little girl. The kinder I am, the happier she is, the more compassionate, loving I am, the more energy she's going to have. And that is the energy I'm going to use to create whatever I'm creating. So keep those things in mind, and you're going to start building a very solid foundation within you. So when you have a solid foundation and someone criticizes you, someone say, there's something wrong with you, and you're like, well, I've already accepted all my flaws. I'm perfect. There's nothing wrong with me. You can say that from a place of deep compassion and not from a place of being defensive, because it would be natural for you. One of the belief I carry, I'm one of the most beautiful person in the world. Someone else might look at me and say, well, have you seen so and so? I'm only focused on my universe. In my universe, I am the center. Everybody else is just an illusion. Someone else could be the most beautiful person in their world. I'm only concerned about my world. So, does that make sense? Be concerned about your inner world. Don't compare yourself with other people, because all the people we interact with are a reflection of our inner world. When you think you are the most beautiful person, you have the perfect body, when you think that, other people feel that, and they are going to comment on it the same way. That is a very, very, very easy way to influence your current reality. So these were the things that you can do to build your inner self. But I also want to share with you, today might be a little bit longer because I have a lot to cover, why it is so hard for us to let go of criticism and judgment. Yeah, while you're doing all these things to build up your inner world, Why it is so hard? Why, whenever something goes wrong, the first thing you do, attack yourself, and then you're like, I did it again. To me, that's like one of the things I'm very concerned about is how I talk to my child. I am not allowed to talk to him in certain way. I'm not allowed to hit him. I'm not allowed to do anything that could destroy him. Like my standards just keep going higher and higher every month. And there are times when I do slip. There are times where I would talk to him in a way that is not very kind. I might even get to a level of yelling. Those are the moments where I check in with myself. In the past, I would go right into guilt. I would start saying to myself, what's wrong with you? You've been on this path for so long. You're still such a horrible mother. That used to be the past. As I build up my self-image, who I think I am as a mom, my mind doesn't go that way. It just happened a couple of days ago and it went right into, okay, tomorrow we start all over again. There was no bashing going on, so you can get to that place. But let me share with you why it is so hard. Our whole physiology is involved when we are going into that negative place. Because again, when you were trained, you were a little child, you were trained, when mom rejected you, you went into the panic mode, you went into the sympathetic nervous system. Some kids, they're just locked there. That's why they have paralyzing anxiety. They had it as a kid, they have it today as an adult too. When your sympathetic nervous system gets locked in that, and it's not coming out to be in the parasympathetic system, nervous system, which is the calm and the relaxed one, when something is going wrong in your life and you are looking for safety, you go back into that stress mode and you create that stress mode by bashing yourself. So it's like, there's a storm outside. I need to create a storm inside too, so I can feel the familiar feeling of being rejected and criticized as a child. Again, that goes back to false emotional intimacy that we feel within ourselves. As you would do the work to build yourself up, your nervous system is going to get rewired through that repetition that no, I I am safe. I am okay. I can handle it. I am not that concerned about people's rejecting me. I'm not concerned about how they think I look. I'm not concerned about maybe the physical flaws I have and what someone else would think about. It goes hand in hand. As you are building yourself up by getting to know yourself, dating yourself, talking to yourself as a 5-year-old, your nervous system starts to rewire. Um, and I just want to quickly share here that if you don't do this work, and if you are a person who's already feeling some physical symptoms, uh, self-criticism or worrying about other people criticism, it impacts your crown chakra because it's overthinking. People who are concerned about judgment, they are always thinking about all the worst possible case scenario. And it also impacts your solar plexus chakra. So what could happen? You could have migraines, usual unexplainable headaches. And sometimes these thoughts are so unconscious, you wouldn't even know that's what's going on in your mind. Another thing that can happen is your solar plexus chakra gets impacted because the fear is so paralyzing. So you're going to have all kind of issues going on in your GI tract system. So starting from like gallbladder to liver to pancreas to all the organs that are involved. IBS, SIBO, ulcers, everything comes under that category. Every single client that I have ever worked with who had those symptoms, because I'm also a pranic healer, a lot of clients come to me because they want to work on their physical well-being, and they have been going to a doctor for 10 years and the doctor has no solution or no clue besides just keep trying different medication. So that is when they find me. We work on the root energy, and the root energy is they are hating themselves. The house has turned against itself. That is why we are finding so much criticism outside, because we are criticizing ourselves inside of us. So if you don't take care of that, you're going to be 40, 50-year-old with a bottle, like, with a bag full of pills. That is the hard way. But the easier way would be, which would be more time consuming, definitely, is elevate your relationship within yourself. Now we want to get a little bit into rejection. So this was like, criticism. When we just feel rejected, when we have that feeling that, this person does not want me anymore. What is so wrong with me that this person doesn't want me anymore? The person is maybe not even telling you that, there's something wrong with you, but they just kind of abandoned you. And you're thinking, why I got rejected? That is, of course, the worst place to be, because you are turning against yourself. And I have personally been there. That is exactly how my deep depression started, that was leading into suicidal behavior. I just kept thinking why somebody would do that to me, why somebody would reject me in such a horrible way. That thought played day and night, sucked all the energy out of me, and I went so down that I was ready to take my life. And I know my story is just one of the millions and billions of stories out there. It's a very normal human behavior. So if you think, Alia, I don't care about what other people think of me, I don't worry about their rejection. We all have that false ego, that false confidence that we put on to go do our amazing jobs, because you could be a CEO of a big corporation and you're like, I don't care about rejection. I'm doing many multi-million dollar deals every day. So I'm good. So let me just take you through litmus test and see where you are. Now you'll have to be honest with yourself. So if you find it hard to say no, you're afraid of other people rejecting you. If you care about others where you're over accommodating yourself, other people. So how would that look like? You're about to have some guests, you're calling them, you're asking them, um, what food you would like. Do you have any allergies? What kind of bed you would like? I'm giving you this bedroom. It has this many windows. Would you be okay with that? They are going to sleep and you're telling them, hey, are you comfortable? Do you need this? Do you need that? We all have had a host like that. We all have, or at least we have heard of somebody. That is a person who's afraid of rejection. And you might be thinking, no, Alia, we are very hospitable people. That is the culture I come from. That is who we are. That is what we do. My mom was like that. My grandma was like that. My friend, fear of rejection runs in our lineage from the beginning of humanity. So of course you're going to have that. You know what a healthy host look like? The guest come into your home and you are elated with joy that they decided to come to your home. You will make sure they have food. You'll make sure you're present for them. You're not on your phone. And you will make sure they have just as comfortable place to sleep as you do. And just leave it at that. Not over bending, over accommodating. That's not hospitality. That is fear of being rejected. What this person will think, what kind of host I am. If we become very honest with ourselves and we go deeper into our consciousness, we all can find those cobwebs. So let's go into the next one. If you're the peacekeeper in your family, you're the one who is always putting off the fire because you think you are so peaceful, my friend, you just don't want to get into conflict. Now, when we get into conflict, that is one of the most beautiful things, because conflict is an opportunity to reveal light within you and within the other person. Of course, if it doesn't get into fighting and arguing, that is when we are going more into darkness. If me and you, we don't agree with each other and we stay compassionate and kind enough to talk through it, and we come up with a solution that is right for you and right for me, right from your angle, right from my angle, and we can agree on disagreeing with compassion and kindness. Now, you know what has happened? Through that difficult conversation, I have revealed light within me and you have revealed light within you. So what is going to happen? Our relationship is going to get elevated. It's going to be a relationship of higher energy versus being a peacekeeper. So we don't want to be the peacekeepers. We want to be those who create energizing relationships. The next one would be when you have social anxiety, self-explanatory. When we are asking other people's opinion, if you have very hard time deciding, making a decision which shoes you should wear or which dress you should wear, you need to put out your outfit 1,000 times. You need to call your girlfriend, your sister, ask your mom's opinion. You have fear of rejection. When you feel stuck, when you're like, I'm just stuck in this reality. I don't know what's going on. Feeling of stuckness is an illusion that we get so comfortable in that we don't even want to come out. Because what will be the opposite? Feeling unstuck, actually going out and taking actions, putting yourself out there, putting yourself to be rejected. When we don't want to do that, we stay in the stuckness. We're like, I'm stuck. I've been stuck for 2 years. I'm still stuck after 10 years. When our happiness depend on other people, when we have these codependent relationship, it could be with our kids, it could be with our partner, it could be with our family, where just the thought of being away from our family just starts suffocating us. That is when we are afraid of being rejected. We need somebody to cling on to, because that is where we are taking our energy, because our power is not within us. When we become the enabler, when we are, so I'm just going to assume maybe somebody out there does not know who an enabler is. Enabler is the person who um, does not call out the other person who is treating them in a bad way or who is harming themselves. So an enabler would be, spouse of an alcoholic. And this person is not leaving alcohol, and they're just lingering around. They're like, yeah, it's okay. Enabler could be a person who's abusing them and they are not taking any actions. Enabler could be a person in a codependent behavior, and they're just always just being there. In their mind, they're thinking, I'm being a good person. I don't want to abandon them. I want to be the bigger person. When we are having those kind of thoughts, most likely we are the enabler, because a healthy relationship, both people are free. Nobody is slave to each other. Both people are free. That is when we are not being an enabler and the other one being the abuser. The last one, there's many we can talk about, but the last one is when we are involved in passive aggressive behavior. That is tied to when we want to be the peacekeeper. We want to avoid having real difficult conversations. So that is passive aggressive behavior. Instead of picking up the phone, calling the person and saying, hey, remember, this is something that you said. I don't like it. Instead of doing that, what we do, we just start avoiding their calls and their text messages. That is the passive aggressive behavior. These are all the signs. If you could resonate with any one of them, you are afraid of being rejected. And the more we get honest with ourselves, the faster we can come to the top, and we can live in a way where nobody can control us. As we are working through this, keep in mind it's a biological response. When we are dealing with the body consciousness, just thinking yourself out of the fear of rejection is not going to work. When conscious mind and body consciousness are against each other, body consciousness is always going to win, because it's tied to your feeling. It's tied to your unconscious mind. That is the auto behavior that is plugged in, ready to go without you even thinking, just like your heart beating. So if you think, or if anyone think they can beat the automatic system because it will be so present, then we are just fooling ourselves. We want to become so aware and observe ourselves, and again, slowly build ourselves to a level where our body consciousness changes. When your body becomes used to getting love from you, getting connection from you, It's not going to feel rejected by other people. Another thing, another element is now when we do get rejected, let's say you've been working on yourself for a very long period of time and you're like, I'm once in a while here and there, I do get rejected still. Why that is happening in my reality, Alia? Is there more stuff to clean up within me? Yes, there's more stuff to clean up within you, but there is also a spiritual reason when you get rejected. When you get rejected, you're getting access to the next level of your soul's light. If you give into that fear and you pull back because you're like, it's important for me that other people like me, you're not going to the next level of your soul, at least in that moment. But if you say, I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling rejected, I am willing to feel this pain, but then I am willing to keep moving forward. When we do that, that is when our vessel expand and more of our soul light can come, because what happened? We went beyond fear. When we went beyond fear, what fear does? Fear covers up our solar plexus chakra, which is our divine light. So when you're willing to walk through that fear, the cloud moves, your light shines, you have more access to your light now. People who are so magnetic in this world that we know of, that, it's not that they are royals, they were just regular people, they became amazing leaders. They walked through the fear of rejection over and over and over. And my friend, that is the kind of magnetism that Sephora cannot sell it to you. Being very honest, that is the kind of beauty that no med spa can sell to you. No Botox can give you that kind of beauty. No plastic surgeon can give you that kind of beauty. That is the beauty of your soul. When you can walk through the fear of rejection and you keep moving because your soul's opinion, your soul's journey is more important than what people have to say about you. Now, let's get into how we are going to unpack this, how you're going to develop yourself in a way where you become rejection proof. With criticism, we are building a relationship with ourselves. When we want to be rejection proof, we go on a whole different level. Our fear of being rejected is tied to control and safety. In all the scenarios that I talk to you, when we have hard time saying no and we keep saying yes, we feel in control because we don't know how the other person is going to react if we say no. Will they like it? Will they not like it? I know when I say yes to everybody, they like it. So I am in control. When I'm in control, I feel safe. And one of the biggest things that we want to start with, your security or your safety is your ability to choose. It's not in the reaction of the other person, or it's not even in the feeling that you feel in the pit of your stomach when you're about to say no. Your safety is, I choose to say no right now. Your safety is, I choose to have this difficult conversation right now. I choose to walk through this fear right now. That is your real safety. And that safety is tied to the fact that anything can happen to your physical body any given time. It's not safe, even though we love to live in this illusion that, our body is safe, anything can happen. Your real safety is your soul, your divine being having a physical experience. No one can hurt your soul because your soul is not solid. It's not made out of any material. It's light. It's like air. Can anyone hurt light? Can you hurt sunlight? Can you hurt air? No, you cannot. You cannot say anything to the sun that will hurt the sun. You cannot say anything to the air that will hurt the air. That is your soul, my friend. Yeah, your ego is getting hurted when somebody doesn't like you, but your soul can never be killed or hurt. So as you start building that consciousness, that is a path to building a personality or building a vessel that does not get rejected by other people. We are going to have way more. So hang tight. I know today we are going way over time. The next level is visualization. Now, let's say you are going to have a conversation with somebody and you know for a fact they are going to be pissed when you talk to them because you have had conversations with them. But now you're like, okay, I'm going to listen to Alia. I'm going to walk through this fear of rejection. I'm going to have this conversation. The best tool that Creator has given us is our ability to visualize and prepare our mind ahead of time for what's to come. Our unconscious mind doesn't know what's visualization, what's real, what's present, past, or future. When we visualize for our unconscious mind, it has already happened. So you can close your eyes, take a deep breath, calm, relax, and now visualize you went to that person, you said your piece, and they were okay with it. You can even have them say back to you in your mind's ears that they are so happy you said your piece. They are so grateful for the relationship, whatever you want them to say. Do it over and over and over and over and rewire your mind to get to a place where it believes it's true. And then go actually do it, and you will realize that you're not going to have all the physical sensation as if you're under attack, and you will have that conversation. And in that moment, you're going to free yourself. You're going to also free the other person. And as I always say, I do not share what I have not tried, tested, and practiced. My friend, this is a very um, visualization I used when I chose to be part of my um, son's father's wedding. And I really wanted to create a family. I wanted to create a family where where there's nothing like, oh, now you have remarried and, I haven't, and why this happened and why that happened. I wanted to create a reality, and that came from the depth of my soul. I wanted to create a reality that is happy, that is harmonious, and that is beautiful. So I was the person asking him, "Hey, can I be there?" And because we have done the work before, so don't just go to your ex and be like, okay, I want to be at your wedding. We have already done many years of work to keep that friendship, that friendly relationship where we could be so present in each other's life. And I'm so grateful, his wife agreed to that, but I wanted to make sure that my nervous system is ready. My nervous system is ready. And that is what I kept visualizing. I kept visualizing. Of course, I always have multiple mentors help me through to transform the darkness that is within me. And I kid you not, their wedding day was one of the most beautiful and happiest moment I experienced. I could see their love for each other. I could see, like, the courage it takes to start a new relationship. I was so happy. You know what that did? That created a very solid foundation for all of us and for the kids who are involved. Our son, her kids, like everybody who's involved, we created such a beautiful foundation. Of course, it did require those two other adults, getting on board. They could have easily said, "No, Alia, we don't want you to be part of our wedding." They could have easily said that, but they didn't. They agreed to it. And we were able to create this beautiful, beautiful blended family that we have at the moment, which is full of love, and there's no bitterness and there's harmony. But to prepare for it, I visualized and I visualized and I visualized that moment. So my nervous system does not go into, I'm under attack, I was rejected, what is wrong with me? So my nervous system doesn't go into that. I know what I shared could be really big and massive for you, or it could be like, okay, Ali, I've done bigger things than that. Amazing. But use this tool to build yourself up. It's a free tool available. Creator put it in each and every one of us. You can achieve anything by using the power of your visualization. Visualize it ahead of time, as many time as you need to do it. I did it for 3 months. I gave myself 3 months every morning, woke up 4 a.m., meditated, visualized, because it was so important for me to create that reality. Because part of the work of my soul is to transform hatred into unconditional love. Nothing else could have been the testament of unconditional love than creating that reality. Let's move forward. Giving yourself a different experience. So let's say if you keep getting rejected, if you're afraid of being outside, if you're afraid to say no, give yourself a little bit of experience of that. Say no to your best friend, which feels maybe very safe. If you have social anxiety, you don't want to go to the mall, go to the mall before the shops open. When it's empty, go to the mall after the shop close. Give yourself a different version of experience, whatever that could look like. If you feel rejected by being in front of the camera, just record something yourself. Like record on your phone. Don't go to Facebook Live. Don't just end up on YouTube Live. Do something small. Give yourself a different experience. When you give yourself different experience, the energy of the action, it breaks through those walls. I can tell you, when I was kind of like, getting back to being online more in 2020, the very first day I decided to go live on Facebook, and I have been live on Facebook many times, my whole body was going into panic. So what I did, I used my healing knowledge. I was holding on to a rose quartz. I use it for the healing session. I was holding on to the rose quartz. What rose quartz does, it opens up your heart. If your front heart is open, back heart is open, it's going to also open your crown. You're not in your lower brain, you're in your upper brain. You're looking at the possibilities. You're not going to think about who's going to reject you in that moment. In that very moment, you won't. So I was holding on to the rose quartz as I was talking to the camera on a Facebook Live. That's where I started. So give yourself a different experience, whatever that could look like for you. Another thing you can do is, again, it's tied to the visualization, but visualization more into who you would become. What would you do? How you would walk, talk, if you are not afraid of being rejected. Like that is something I run with within my consciousness every single day. And there's a sentence actually my mentor taught me. If you know you're good enough, smart enough, or we're not worried about what someone else may think, what would you do? Whenever I want to create something, whether I'm creating a content, whether I'm doing like a random Facebook Live, I learned something and I want to go online and I want to share it with everybody else, that is the sentence that I run. Because still there would be a part of me that would say, oh, what that person would think. Because of course, I'm a born Muslim. I dress like a very conservative Muslim, but then I'm an energy healer. Most Muslim people don't agree with that. I study all religions. I study metaphysics. I talk about past lives. That does attract a lot of people who just don't understand me, because they look at me, they want to put me in a box, but I don't belong to any box anymore. And whenever I'm about to, like, go one step forward, something within me is like, what that person would think. In order to bypass that, I ask myself, what would you do if you're not afraid of what someone else would think of you? Again, keep in mind, it's not that the fear of rejection will just stop knocking on your door. It will always knock on your door. It's your choice if you want to ignore it or if you want to open the door and let it come and be your guest for the day. That choice is ours. Um, so just close your eyes for a moment and feel into your life if you're not afraid of being rejected. And also, given that you have stopped criticizing yourself as well, because now you have started to love yourself, you're dating yourself, who you would be, what would you do? How would you walk? How would you talk? Where would you go? How far will you spread your wings? Pay attention to all those details, because that is the version of you that is ready to step forward through you if you get on the other side of becoming rejection and criticism proof. So today we covered a lot. Rewatch this thing. If you have any question, reach out to me. And most importantly, if this is something that is keeping you stuck in life, if this is something that is holding you from your happiest life, reach out to me. I cannot emphasize this enough. As you transform that darkness within you, you're transforming that within your lineage, your future seven generation, your past seven generation, and the collective. The whole world is going to benefit when you will stop being afraid of other people rejecting you or criticizing you. The world is going to be different just because you decided to transform that within you. You can go to my website, aliajamalcoaching.com. You can book a consultation, and I would love to be your guide on this journey. So, this is all for this Thursday. I'll be back next Thursday. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you next week. Bye.